This is an absolute value inequality. Now, solving an absolute value inequality is similar to an absolute value equation, but there's a couple extra rules to follow. One of the things that you should do whenever you see an absolute value inequality is remember this phrase, great or less than. Now, that's not me misspelling anything. That's me using clever wordplay. Now, we'll hold on to that phrase for a moment. Okay, what I want to do is just like with the equations is I want to get my absolute value all by itself. It is. Now let's split these guys up into two inequalities. In each of them, you're going to keep the left exactly the same the way it was inside the absolute value. And if you're like, whoa, 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 it's negative though. Who cares? Leave it. The one inequality, write the right side exactly the same that it was. The other inequality, flip the sign and make the right side its opposite. Now, this is where that cute little wordplay came in. This is a less than symbol. So when you split these guys up, the word that you're going to use to separate these two, because you have two inequalities and you either need the word and or, okay, the way you're going to split these guys up is since that's a less than, you're going to use the word and. So you have negative 8n is less than 32 and negative 8n is greater than negative 32. Now we solve each of these individually. Oh my goodness, dividing a negative from an inequality. What does that mean? Flip the sign, baby. Like that. That's going to happen over here. Negative 8 is going to be divided from negative 32. That's an inequality. And n is less than 4. That word and is still in the middle. Now, with and inequalities or and compound inequalities, you care about where this guy and that guy overlap. So it's not the worst idea ever to make yourself a rough draft. So what n is greater than negative 4 would look like is something like this. So we'll put negative 4 right there. Don't fill it in. What n is less than 4 would look something like this. And I care about where these guys overlap. Well, they start to overlap right here, but you're not going to count the 0 because you don't count the 0. Not 0, circle. Same thing over here. They finish overlapping at 4, but you're not going to count 4. They completely overlap in between. So the graph that I'm going to make is everything in between negative 4 and 4, but don't include those numbers. So if I put a 0 right in the middle, I should be just fine. Like that. I'm going to put a circle at negative 4. I'm going to put a circle at regular 4. And I'm going to shade everything in between. Now, what that means is I could take 0, I can take negative 2, I can take 2, and I can plug that into the original inequality, and that would give me a true statement. Like if I did do 0, negative 8 times 0 is 0. Is the absolute value of 0 less than 32? It sure is. So that's how you solve and graph a compound, not a compound, what is this called? An absolute value inequality. Whew.